Okay, Revelation chapter 14, 13 here and verse 14. And deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of these the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. In other words, this new governmental body that this United Nations had put in place, who taken on the law of democracy, which was Afghanistan and Iraq, gave these people the authority. If the people didn't fall in line, that all they got to do is call in abstract and they'll assist them, keep them in power. The government that these people give, saying to them that dwell on the earth in the Middle East, that they should make an image of the beast, which had been worn by a sword, and they live. Now, if you see the image is made of the beast, you go back to Daniel chapter 2, 3, where they made an image of gold. Daniel chapter uh, Daniel chapter 2 was the man had the head of gold. But the gold image that was the head symbolized the United States of America. It made a symbol of gold. Notice in Daniel chapter 3. And Shadrach, Meshach didn't bow down to the gold. That man of gold was the law of democracy spoken of in Daniel chapter 3. This is the same replica of it. Anybody they supposed to bow down. I said he said you must dance by my music, and this is the same part of that. It says the beast which had wounded by the sword, and they lived. He had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which was the law of democracy, which was given to God's people to serve over the law of Moses. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, which is a code, in their right hand. That means they had to vote with their right hand, go to the poll and vote on or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark on the name of the beast, or the number of his name, a zip code. What this tells us is once they took on this law of democracy over there, all of 2006, all of them didn't vote for this law of democracy. They went in for their homes after they found out who. And they brought these peoples out and they bound them and tortured them and shot them in the back of their head and dumped them on the side of the street. All who didn't worship this image of beast. This was told in 2006 on news media. There were from 40 to 200 was being slayed at night and dumped on the back of the street. Now it says, here is wisdom. Chapter verse 18. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, but it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. This is myself, Curly Bazell. I am that man. God did there was 3 beasts. The one came by law, and you multiply 3 times 666, that is 1998. This is when God gave me the vision of a storm chasing me, that I had watched this storm, and the storm developed in the west, which was the United States of America, and I was trapped between this storm. And in this storm was a dark cloud, large as a steamroller, laying up on the ground, and it began to slumber towards me. I read it in the book. But in this dark cloud was white cloud-looking hands. Every time God placed a concrete block wall in front of me to protect me from the dark cloud, the dark cloud, which I found out the dark cloud became black water. It was a sulfur cloud over this cloud. And when the dark cloud gets to me, as God had placed a concrete block wall before me, and I ran around the opening that God had placed for me, the white cloud-looking hands, which was the Justice Department of the United States, it had the authority to tear down the wall, not the dark cloud-looking hand. And every time I run, and there was another concrete block wall was set before me, the black cloud had no power of its own, but it was the white cloud-looking hand that was hiding in this black cloud, which had the authority and the ability to dismantle this wall and expose me to the black cloud again. And little did I know that there was a organized fighting force called Blackwater, and the sulfur was flying over, sulfur cloud was over this here, meaning this cloud came out of the bottomless pit. This was the forces of perdition spoken of in the next chapter that I've been introduced to you to. Revelation, I got this chart here, and I'm rushing, but this is the chart here, 17, 1-18. I'm going to try to get this here. That's the reason I'm rushing, but I know what I'm doing. Chapter 17, Revelation chapter 17. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. The great whore is the CIA, that set up on many waters, many nations, rule many nations, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunken with the wine of her fornication. She keeping the rich people's rich. That's what the CIA is. He's the ruler of the CIA. The CIA, which is Mystery Babylon, who is the Chaldees, which Habakkuk spoken of. It is this nation which came out of Babylon, which is Mystery Babylon, which will go back. But it keeps these people rich, and the rich people's all they delight in money. They don't know the sinister minds of this CIA, what his intent. But it comes back from biblical time because they don't like God, because they don't like Jesus, because Jesus was born of a black father and a black mother, but with a part, yet still part white. So he cried, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, a red beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads, the same one, and 10 horns. The 7 heads are the 7 commanders in chiefs of these United Nations. The 10 horns are the military fighting force, which 4 of them belongs to the United States of America. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colors, and decked with gold and precious stone and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. Meaning, these was the 7 richest nations upon the face of the earth who had united themselves together. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, who was the Chaldees that's spoken of in the prophecy of Habakkuk. Says they would go and they would return. They would go to the Bethlehem and they would turn back. The great, the mother of harlots and the abomination of earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names, names, was not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. In other words, she will come out of the bottomless pit where God had been bound these angels at. And here is the name, man, which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains tower above the valley, and of which the woman said, these are the 7 nations which the CIA will reside in, who control, who is the strategy for war. And there are 7 kings Bye.